1-3 loss against Atletico, I'm just not so sold on how things are going for Order at the moment. So we'll see how things do end up turning out. See whether or not Order's going to continue with this Sombra Ghost that they've been trying to make work. I don't think it necessarily has worked for them. I don't think they have a strong Sombra player, whether it is Adam or Signed. So maybe Ground Zero can try and play around that, but they're going to go for the DPS composition here.
Yeah, this is something that we noticed in our preparation this week, is that Ground Zero, they have a roster that excels almost on that DPS roster. The Nami, Widow, Guz, Sombra, Juboy, Farah. Juboy is always mentioning everywhere. He's very confident on this hero, so it's good to see him on it. And it'll be interesting to see how Order adapt here. They are just going to go and swap into the Moira and the Winston, staying on this Sombra-based composition. It's something that they didn't really pull out at all last season when teams were doing it. Now they've decided to give it a shot here. It is a little bit better versus the DPS and definitely versus the Wrecking Ball, but you still need to get the execution on it.
Yeah, they've also given up their first cap to Ground Zero. So obviously not the ideal start.
They're not really achieving a lot right now. They're just kind of hiding, waiting for Adam to get into, to get into position. And now they will come out and push out, and Sign's already been caught on the coast.
Does have to translocate out, has built 18% of that EMP, which is quite a far margin from what Gus has got. Nami finding the opening pick here with a headshot onto Yuki, does go low, Signed will finish it off. Here comes the opportunity for Ground Zero to really take control of this fight, although it seems as though it's going to be going in the way of Order. Ground Zero have not executed what they wanted to. They weren't able to hang on long enough for that rocket barrage to come up onto Juboy. And Order will have a pretty clean wipe, so it took them a while to get that first fight going, but once it happened, they sort of cleaned up Ground Zero fairly easily.
Yeah, Order just finding these skirmishes. After the 1-for-1 trade, they'll manage to find these little skirmishes where Quats and Jordation can excel at just picking off heroes, whittling them down one by one, and when you have those low HP heroes on the side of Ground Zero, they do go down very fast. They need to get the first few 5 picks.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Ground Zero, they've had to swap back off onto a 3-3 of their own. So it's a Sombra 3-3, so it's not a major shake-up. At least they have some ultimates to play with. Dalsu nearly there as well. Gunther will drop early to the Coalescence of Jordation, so Kamehameha has worked out quite nicely. That said, a lot of the Order players very low. There was a fire nade involved there onto Yuki and Hunter, I think. The EMP's available for Sign, but the first one comes from Gus, and that means that he won't have the opportunity to get his out. Mini will finish the job there with a fire strike as Juboy pushes forward on the Brigitte, dealing with the raging Winston. There's nothing that Quads can do in a situation like that, and for now, for Order, it's a case of waiting out and dying on the point, trying to buy as much percentage as they can before they do inevitably let that flip occur.
Yeah, Stein getting caught there by Guz's EMP while he had his own. He was really looking to set that up. The Diva Bomb came out from Adam. He tried to get the EMP off, but Gus was just a little quicker and stopped the combo from going off. But we saw Nami building a full Graviton Surge in that fight there off Quads' Primal Rage and probably Adam's mech as well. So going into this fight, Garen's are going to have a big advantage as they'll be able to build the EMP up a bit more off this Graviton Surge.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely think of worse situations for Order, though. At least Sign has got his EMP available, so you look at that and you say this should be a fight won, but it depends on what Ground Zero can do before it comes out. Well, it misses Nami, which allows the Graviton Surge to go on through, but sound barrier down from Hunter will keep Order quite safe indeed. Mini will fall, and Ground Zero are fighting a 5v6 at the moment. Gus turns his EMP onto Order, but I just don't think that that's going to make much of a difference at this point. It's too late in the fight.
Mini's coming back with an Earth Shadow, but will he be able to sneak it in here? He will.
He will. Goes right up the stairs. That's a huge Earth Shadow from Mini, and that will be enough to win the fight for Ground Zero. Oh, it looked like Order were winning it for a moment, but just taking too long to actually get it done.
I thought Gus jumped the gun with his EMP. Nobody could really follow it up. I saw Mini coming back with that Earth Shadow and just poetry in motion. He just comes up the stairs, waddles up there and lays out a big Earth Shadow.
Waddles up there, I like it from the Reinhardt. Well, what does Ground Zero have to hold here? Just the support ultimates, but Quats gets caught off trying to get to the point. No one able to secure overtime there for Order. Little uncharacteristic. Unta, I guess, didn't get there either with the Lucio. So 1-0 for Ground Zero, and only one fight won there for Order, although admittedly there was only maybe 3 or 4 fights total. But as soon as we got into sort of the 3-3 matchup, again, you see Ground Zero having the advantage, which traditionally is kind of Order's domain. When they're in 3-3, you back them every day of the week, but it hasn't really been working that way this season.
Yeah, with the Sombra spanner in the works that teams are throwing in now, they're a lot more comfortable on it. Last season, you didn't see a lot of Australian teams running the Sombra in their 3-3, and this season it's been pretty much all Sombra 3-3. So you can see Order kind of adjusting poorly to playing it themselves too. They didn't really get as much as they wanted off their EMP. They didn't get to snowball into the fight. And here comes Ground Zero on a bunker come. versus the Order Winston Goats. Ground Zero do have the head-to-head matchup here. They are running 2 shield tanks though, with the Winston and the Orisa.
And no Diva. But that has become fairly standard, at least here in Australia. Running the Winston as well.
It just adds that extra mobility, and this point is really good for Winston's Primal Rage, obviously with the environmental kills, and also being able to pressure Jordation on the backline, just not letting him get that free damage off to break these shields and kill this Bastion.
Well, first mission has been successful for Ground Zero, and that's to set themselves up on the point. Now the contest has to come from Order. Potts will be the one to jump on in, but he just doesn't have the backup that he needs. Adam nowhere inside, or at least not able to get that defense matrix up quickly enough to keep him alive, and a player advantage for Ground Zero. However, that is being quickly brought back as Nami went down and meant no shield there for Duboy. Now Ground Zero fighting under the pressure. This kind of chaotic fight is what is going to favour Order just a little bit more so than the bunker composition, where Ground Zero would ordinarily have liked to have just been set up on the point at this point. Zero to go through as well. That's a big investment out from Order. Sign throwing it in, but it may well win them the fight.
Yeah, still this first fight, and Nami going down early really ruined the Bastion's day. But ult's coming out. Duboy does go down. Gus is going very low on this Diva mech. Quads is primaling out of his mind, but he looks like he's going to come up short.
Yeah, I think that might be the end of it now. Finally, a few more unchallenged picks come across for Order. They looked really good at the start for Ground Zero, but as soon as Nami went down, that's where the spanner kind of went into the works. Elsu has to back away, will survive courtesy of Immortality Field, but not for too long. Yuki smashes him in the face with a mace. Mace to the face. Heard that before. Anyway, Ground Zero swapping off.
One of those incredibly long rollout fights. Yeah, it's hard to commentate, hard to call, because all these ults coming up at the exact same time. But Order managed to get a Graviton Surge in, now they're halfway back up to the other one. The next one, sorry. Adam, again, big Diva Bomb. That really opened the point up for them as well.
That does have his sound barrier available. Is he going to have the opportunity to use it? Given Dalsu's down early, I think Ground Zero are going to be much more interested in just leaving this one by the wayside.
And that's really good ult discipline from the side of Order there. They know that the Ground Zero Gaming, they just swapped up everybody, so they don't have the ults that the Order boys have. So Yuki able to just use that rally, get everybody in, get on top of Dalsu, take him out, and then from there you just snowball next target with that order-produced gold from Jordation.
Graviton Surge is available for Stein. He's waiting for it. You can see Guz doesn't quite catch it. He was looking. Sound barrier to go down immediately, but there is the self-destruct straight in, which is going to make short work of Mini and Duboy. Gus Mech will be caught in the action as well. So that is a very quick one. Again, Ground Zero just not finding their footing here.
Order did a little bit of an overspend there with Quads popping the Primal Rage. They already used those 2 other tank ultimates on Signed and Adam to secure the fight. But maybe Quads felt he was going a bit low, you know, got scared, popped the Primal and went and punched someone off the map. Ground Zero, now this is the fight they need to win. It's last fight territory. Dalsu is really slow in this Transcendence. He hasn't been able to get any space to get these right clicks off.
Yeah, definitely been tough for Ground Zero. I think the only way that they do find anything here is Mini with a big Primal Rage, maybe knocking Hunter or Jordation off. That said, Yuki goes down early. Neither of the support ultimates have been invested, and Sign surely dead here as well as you just get thrown around by Mini. Great Primal Rage. Going to get at least one. Maybe Hunter goes down here as well, but then he gives up on that chase as he has to turn back to his team to peel. Regardless, as you say, it was a must-win fight for Ground Zero, and they did win.
Yeah, Mini getting a bit of revenge for his previous Primal on this map a few weeks ago. It was a bit of a disaster, but this time he comes up clutch with it. Manages to punch Signed off the map. Signed not adhering to sticking to the walls against the Primaling Winstons. It can make it very difficult for them to get off the map. But now Ground Zero have great ult bank here coming into this fight.
Graviton Surge in particular for Nami is available.
This needs to be a big one so they can rotate.
Mini's very low.
Mini's goes down early. He needed to get that Graviton Surge out really fast and Mini could build his Primal back up again.
Mini was so isolated there. You did see the bubble go through from Nami, but it was not enough. Now the Graviton Surge is going to have to be a self-destruct in. That one from Gus, it's not really going to do a whole lot. And now the return coming through from Order. It's Signed this time with the Graviton Surge as Nami will drop early. The mech is gone for Gus as well, and Mini's back onto the Wrecking Ball, which is less than ideal on a point like this, even despite the environmental kills. Maybe a Winston off the edge. Gunther, has he salvaged the situation now for Ground Zero as they may return to the fight with some vengeance?
Yes, this point Mini is just going to be able to stall for a long time. It's going to be hard to take him down. Sun's going low, but he's got the boys around him now, but the point will look like it will flip over back to the side of Order. Gunther just causing a lot of issues on the top high ground here, just knocking people around, jumping around himself. He's actually peeled back off the point, so Mini manages to knock Yuki off. The boys from Order not showing the best discipline here dealing with this Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, I don't know that it's really going to matter too much though, as it's going to be a cut back across for Order. Now a Tracer involved in the mix as Nami continues to try and touch for overtime. Not going to happen. One apiece now as Order secure the second round on Nepal.
Now we go to Village, a point where I expect Ground Zero to roll out on DPS, and I expect Order to roll out on the Sombra Goats. It's something they didn't look good on the first point of this map, and this could be a very close finish to this round.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that this series is going to be quite close. I think by all rights it should be.
And we've seen Order struggle versus this Mei in several matchups this season of Contenders, and now Ground Zero are pulling it out themselves. Let's see if Order have learned how to deal with this pesky little Frost lady.
A little bit more room on this map as well. It's going to allow Dalsu back onto Ana as opposed to Zenyatta, which I think is a massive benefit, massive boon for Ground Zero.
I think it's a very comfortable pick for Dalsu. He's been playing that hero for a very long time, enjoys it a lot more than the other flex support options, so let's see how he can implement it here. We do have this little stalemate sign going back, and looks like he'll be swapping to the Zarya. So Order don't want anything to do with this Mei. They want... Yep, okay, so Adam is going to go into the Sombra. They're going to go to the Ana and the Reinhardt. This is a little easier to deal with the Mei just because you have the Sombra that can win a fight with EMP essentially. It's just
bubbles as well.
Yeah, they are going to be giving up the first point capture though, and that's going to... They need to like get a good fight here before it hits like 20-30%. They can't be giving up too much of the capture point waiting for Adam to get into EMP.
Trying to get to that point on the first round. We saw how that ended up going. It was a win for Ground Zero. Now straight into the mix is Order. Yuki going to go very low, courtesy again of a Bionade from Dalsu. That's the impact that you're going to get from him on the Ana. Nami as well will find her, and it is just going to be a bit of a waterfall on that kill feed for Order. Unfortunately, he said that they needed to get that fight going before 30%. Well, they did, but they haven't won it.
No, Adam getting close to this EMP, and Quad's now with the Earth Shadow. He did beat Mini to it, but it's going to be hard to get down with Mini's big shield. Nami has the bubbles. Juboy has Adam's been found, and he has no Translate to set up, so he's going to go down here. That's a massive mistake from the side of Order. Yep. They have to wait so long for Adam to come back in now.
Yeah, that's a very, very big mistake indeed. And I think that kind of continues the storyline of Order not really having that strong Sombra presence that you would want if you were running a composition like this. Not sure what the option is, really. I guess they have committed almost to running this Sombra Goats. Again, we see it this week. Could be a long-term strategy by the end of the season, surely. And Adam's going to go down.
To the right click of Gus, and now they're just going to pile in on top. A big biotic grenade from Dalsu. Another big fight win for the side of Ground Zero, and this is last fight territory for Order. Yep. They're going to be feeling it now.
It's been one fight this entire round.
It really is. It's been the rollout fight, and then Adam getting picked off twice in a row, 2 fights in a row. You can't have that happen at this level.
At least he's got an EMP now, so that may be the saving grace for Order. If he can get a good one off here, perhaps that will make amends for the last 2 mispressions, I suppose you could call them.
They've cut him in half. Gus with the beautiful Mei wall to stop the aggression.
But can they actually find the pick? The EMP's going to come out. Maybe it's all going to go wrong for Ground Zero. They just didn't quite capitalize. It seemed as though they were all on different pages. And unfortunately, Mini's going to be the only one to find a kill there for Ground Zero. Yuki does fall, but by the way of Order, it costs them a lot though. EMP, Shatter.
It is going to come down to a bit of individual brilliance here, a bit of mechanical outplay, I reckon, if Order need to win this. Maybe they can get a good fight with this Graviton Surge. Maybe they can catch them off guard, but I don't know. I mean, they got the Mei,
I don't see it happening.
Everything.
Like, yeah, you get Graviton Surge and then Blizzard straight in here. Hunter hasn't built that sound barrier. Early fight, though, from Order. That's kind of what they need to be doing. Starting off on the right foot, but can Ground Zero get their ultimates out? And if they do, it's probably the map over. It certainly looks like it will be. Mini, Gunther, Nami, all finding a pick. And it does come off the back of that Graviton Surge and Blizzard combo. There's the cap and Order. Surely there's nothing to be done here. Only a couple of players left alive, and they can't get on the point even. Ground Zero will win map 1. And, well, your 3-1 prediction is still a possibility, Smash, but does that raise an eyebrow?
That's the map that I didn't think... I think they would have won that in 2, in fact. So it's kind of shocking that they do go down at the end of the day, but you just saw that mistake from Adam getting picked off. Really caused problems for the side of Order, because Unto didn't get to build his sound barrier because there just wasn't enough fights for him to, get the healing off, get the damage off, so there was no sound barrier for that Mei ult. It just all snowballs into this horrible situation for the side of Order, and props to Ground Zero for really taking advantage of that and, you know, rotating their ultimates well and not panicking when you're in the lead. This is a nice Earth Shatter from
Awesome
Mini.
shatter. A little surprising though that Order not really aware of that possibility. You know, it's not every day that you see a Reinhardt being able to literally walk up to the side of your team and get an Earth Shatter like that.
Yeah, of course, especially if you kill him so early on the fight, you're going to be calling, okay, we've killed their Reinhardt, let's push, and then, you know, 10 seconds go by and you're thinking, okay,
Where is he?
Where is he?
Yeah.
And Mini managing to come back and really stealing that round for them there. They did look good on Sanctum, but unfortunately, you need to look good on 2 of the 3 maps, not just the 1 for Order.
Well, maybe you need to look good on 3 of the 4 maps more so, I think would be what Order is saying right now. You know, that is only 1 map win on the board for Ground Zero. But again, it's going to mark another sort of tainted series, I'll say, from Order. And they, last season, were able to get 4-0s out across the board almost. This season, they haven't even got a single 4-0, and maybe that's to their benefit, to be honest, because at this point, it's looking like it's more likely for Order to get 4-0'd than for them to 4-0 anyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the map score would say that, wouldn't it? They've lost more maps than they've won now, I think. I think they'll get even going into this week, so I don't know. Order wary. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, I don't know.
Swapping Sombra players around. Maybe maybe they need to go back to the drawing board.
It's a massive issue, especially against a team like Ground Zero, who are at this point Order's direct competitor. They're sitting right next to each other in the standings. Ground Zero coming into this series had a 1 map advantage. They had the same amount of match wins.
Oh yeah.
But head to head, Ground Zero did have that 1 map advantage. Now they've got a 2 map advantage. That said, that's kind of all not necessarily going to matter if Order can win this series. But well, they're already on the wrong foot in that respect as we move into Paris, and we know that Paris can sort of throw us a bit of an interesting kind of a game sometimes. You know, you can get the bunker compositions, you can get some DPS compositions. We've seen Double Sniper coming out here. We've seen Standard Goats. We've seen Clockwork Vendetta. We've kind of seen a bit of everything. So again, I kind of think that plays a bit more so into Ground Zero, where they're a bit more, it seems to me at least this season, a bit more adaptable than Order, who are kind of like, okay, we need to play 3-3, we need to play Sombra Goats. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen Paris a few times in this contender season already. Order, it's been a stronger map for them. I believe they took out the Sydney Drop Airs on it, or took out Atletico and drew with the Sydney Drop Airs on this map. So it's a map that they've had more success on than most maps, considering they haven't had a lot of success on a lot of maps. So it should be a more comfortable area for Order to play. Yeah, the compositions can get a bit silly, and we might see a few DPS compositions. We might see a few Bastions come out, but I think that this is a better map for Order, and I do still, I'll stick by it. I'll go 1-1 into the half.
All right, fair enough. I will say both teams have actually won their game of Paris this season. Obviously, with the locked map pool, we get to see every single team play the same maps every time, and so both teams have played it once, both teams have won it. But definitely remember Order playing it against Atletico. I don't recall who Ground Zero played this one against. Could well have been Melbourne Mavericks.
It could well have been the Melbourne Mavericks, actually.
Which I don't think really speaks too much to their ability on this map.
So Order now coming out with something a little different from them. They've got the bunker composition up. Yuki on the Junkrat, signed on the Widow. This is a hero that back at MEO he excelled on. Very, very sharp hitscan player. Scared a lot of people off.
Yeah,
Dubois won't want to be hovering for too long in his sight lines.
I kind of like this from Order. You know, to me it seems pretty evident that the standard sort of stuff that they're trying is not working. So let's see. We've got a couple of star players on DPS roles. Obviously, Sign is very, very good, and Yuki, we've seen what he's able to do with heroes like Junkrat in the past. So let's try and activate them, see what they're going to be able to do.
And Ground Zero just checking the composition now. Dubois swapping onto that Genji. This is a comp that is often used to break these bunkers.
Good. That's a little bit of a dangerous game to be playing against someone like Signed, but the first initial opener will start in the favour of Ground Zero. They're going to reset themselves, prepare for the next dive. Mini straight on top of Signed, and what are you really going to do as a Widowmaker at that point? Adam to try and assist, and may well be able to trade, but in fact, Mini gets a 2 for 1, 2 for none even. As Dubois also finishes off Yuki. Great work from Mini, what an excellent dive. All on his own, and Order just sort of capitulate on the first point, so
managed to isolate that key pick in the Widowmaker and really shut that down. That makes his team a lot more confident going in, and you saw the ult charge of Unter and Jordation. Again, they're not doing that much healing. There was so many players that just are isolated. Look like Quats was all on an island on his own, Signed was too, so
Adams
there's positioning here maybe.
Button.
He's got translocated down from Adam. That's a big improvement of Paul, but now he comes in, he's got the key ult, he needs to shut down this push.
Might not be able to do it if if Mini kind of gets on top of Order and the Nano Boost comes through regardless, that could still be a problem. 4 players connected, but Mini not one of them. He does have Primal Rage. Dalsu did get the Nano Boost out beforehand, but doesn't really seem to have mattered. Order are able to just completely destroy Ground Zero, which is really what you want to see off the back of an EMP. A very economic fight for Order in using only 1 ultimate. Same can be said though for Ground Zero, realistically. It only took them 1 ult.
Ground Zero probably got the opening they wanted there with the nano boosted Winston going in, but I don't think Dalsu was able to get a big grenade to follow up, or they couldn't get another man in there, or doing damage with Mini. So the supports on Order were able to consolidate and just peel for poor Jordation, who's getting punched into a corner almost. But now Nami has the EMP, and Order is stacked up here. They are going to have to use Jordation's Transcendence.
Oh, this is going to be
if he gets hit, it could be very, very fast capped.
Well, that's it straight away. Quats is going to lose his shield, and that will allow Mini to push on forward. Dalsu inevitably is the one to find the pick, but this is such a great start for Ground Zero onto the cap. They're going to be able to consolidate on it, though. No more picks to follow. 2 ticks, however. So you'd be pretty happy with that one as Ground Zero. But now the resurgence, now the reinforcement comes across from Order. Shatter goes down. There's a few players on the ground there, and it's 2 for 2 at this point in the fight. Quat's going very low indeed. But the heals are coming across, and Duboy can't really continue to swing that flail because he is solo as well. Now a Graviton Surge from side. Will this be the difference maker as he does find the kill onto Duboy? And all said and done, Ground Zero are pushed back, but they do get 2 ticks.
Yeah, they managed to catch 5 members with the EMP from Nami.
Nami's at 80% again, by the way.
Yeah, he is. But Jordation's built that trance back up. Dalsu hit the bio grenade onto Kotz's feet as soon as that EMP came out from Nami, so they were able to burn him down. There was no dispel there because Signed 2 got hit by that EMP. So that really opened the fight up for them, but they didn't get that second kill fast enough. Order managed to discipline, drop back, let them have 2 ticks, and then come back in with the rally. Quartz came in with the Earth Shatter and it kind of consolidated and won the fight.
Well, EMP this time through from Adam. He'll go down immediately. That's not the way that you want to start a fight when you use the EMP, but trades are coming across. That means it's going to be all okay for Order. All's well that ends well, so they say.
Yeah, they were able to close the gap with the Hunter speed boost and get the aggression there to clean up the fight. It was very risky considering Adam went down first, but they managed to make it work. But now we have the big fight from Ground Zero. They have 3 ults that, are big team wipe ultimates, and then they've got the Mini has the nano boost available too from Dalsu, which might stop him from getting bursted down by a discorded right click or a discorded Sombra hack. So I'm really expecting Ground Zero to win this fight. This is the fight they need to win.
If it goes the way that the last one did, it should be fairly straightforward for them. But if Ground Zero actually lose this fight, there may be a full hold on the cards for Order. Grab goes in early. The EMP is not going to be invested, so Transcendence will get thrown out, but all of this is just delaying the inevitable, it feels like. As soon as Nami decides to invest the EMP, well, it does only hit the 3 players, but Mini gets a good shatter down. Should be the end of Jordation, however. There's a sound barrier there. Not quick enough for Adam, but may well be enough to keep Order alive in this fight. Mini will drop. Ground Zero may have lost the unlosable fight. Again, Order just coming up with the individual plays, keeping themselves quite alive, even though the Graviton Surge doesn't do a whole lot. It's the sound barrier this time from Unter that seemed to be the saving grace. Yeah,
again, Order managing to get, take this EMP and still only give up like 1 player, 2 players maybe. Just kite around the point, buy time for those respawns to come in on the defender's advantage. And once Yuki got hit by that EMP with his rally, I thought it was going to be all over, but they managed to just, hide behind the architecture, kite it out a bit, and then come back in. So now Ground Zero are really going to be up against with only their beat drop really to answer to this push.
There's only the Shadow right now for Order. Adam's getting close to the EMP though, so that should be up in this fight, even if it is necessary with Mini and Duboy falling. Shadow was thrown down by Quats, but...
And Jordation's been building these Transcenders incredibly quickly. I don't think that he might not have gone down yet on this map, except for the first point, obviously. I think he's playing really well, just kiting in and out of the fights, keeping his uptime as much as possible. Dying on that Zenyatta hero isn't great because you remove the Harmony Orb, you remove the Discord Orb, and that just pure damage that he can put out as well. So he's been building very fast Transcendences, and so far they've all been pretty effective.
Yep, Adam has EMP now as well. I think Nami's going to be given the opportunity to get zone up just before.
Yeah, Adam spotted Gunther there, and he wants to get this EMP off when the sound barrier can't come out. Mini will be isolated by himself and taken down by Quads. This is a good intelligent play there from Adam, finding the Lucio, knowing that, hey, this guy's going to be hiding. He has his beat drop, so he manually hacks in, throws his translocator in over the top, or to push in at the same time. That's much better team play, and that's how you're supposed to play this Sombra Goats composition.
Yeah.
Using your Sombra effectively, that was much better from them.
Pieces of the puzzle starting to come together. We definitely had our questions on Nepal, and I think quite rightly, but this has been a lot more solid from Order on the defense of Point B Paris. Yeah, with that said, not a full hold just yet. 1 minute left on the clock. One more attempt for Ground Zero. It'll be a good one though with the EMP, Graviton Surge. No boost, everything really for Ground Zero. It might as well be 6 ultimates this fight.
Order are splitting up very well here. They have that architecture to defend themselves against the EMP.
Oh, Adam's going to go down early on in the piece. Graviton Surge thrown through from Sign and from Gus. But there's an EMP to follow for Nami. A sound barrier for Gunther as well. Just the Transcendence out from Jordation. Not going to be enough to keep Yuki alive. They're all off the point.
Oh, disaster as they all get off the point. Yuki took the charge for Unta. Get down, Mr. President of Gaming. But it wasn't enough. You know, as that charge knocks everybody off the point, and they only had that slither to cap, so they got that pretty quickly with 5 players on the point. Adam going down at the start of the fight, bit costly, but he didn't have his ultimate ready, so you know, probably not the worst.
It was still a salvageable fight for Order, certainly.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Well, not if you're all off the point, and that's the danger of giving up 2 ticks early on in the piece. Had they not given up those 2 ticks, you know, you might have, I guess, given up one tick or something at that point, but still would have been time to fight. But regardless, Order allowing that one to go capping through. 2 done for Ground Zero with 32 seconds available, so they will have a bit of time to play with if we do get into the time banks. If being the operative word, though, because, I mean, Order, look, they looked a lot better here on Paris, I will say that. But still not enough to say, yeah, they're just going to clean sweep this map and make things easy for themselves.
They looked like they had a lot more, you know, idea of how to use the Sombra there, even rotating the EMP just by itself, you know, not overspending ults. They looked a lot more in charge of their own ult economy. They didn't feel pressured to use anything, which was good. You like to see that when you see a team learning a new composition. But again, that first point defense where Mini was just able to isolate targets such as Science, Widow, and Adam Sombra, it's really unfortunate that that was so, you know, so quick to go down, because I think that's where they'll want their time back again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they do manage to cap on through, then they'll have another opportunity at defending point A.
And it looks like it will be that bunker composition out of Ground Zero. They are putting Juboy back on that Bastion. Mini back on the Winston too, with Gus on the Orisa. So they are favouring this double main tank setup. They did have the Diva on Sanctum, but it looks like they've foregone that for a Sombra instead. This will be hard for the side of Order to break, but it looks like they have a good idea on how to do it with the spam version of the composition, running the Hanzo, trying to break that shield early and make that Bastion vulnerable.
It's been a while since we saw Yuki on a Farah.
Yeah, hero that he does enjoy playing, he likes it. Thinks he's pretty good at it too, so
I'll be the judge of that.
the Rocket Man.
Bastion, of course, to try and cause the issues. Sign of Ground Zero. Already onto the cap though is Order. Vinny's going to take the opportunity to dive onto the back line. That's 1 tick though given over to Order for pretty cheap, must be said. Sign will be revived back up by Unter, and it seems as though we may well be going the exact same way that we did when Order was on the defense, and that'll be a quick point A capture. Gus, as soon as the Fortify runs out, won't last too much longer, and he does indeed fall quite quickly. Duboy to try and do something, salvage the situation in some way, shape or form with the assistance of Dalsu. It's not really going to happen here. Gunther was alive as well, but it's a pretty quick cap out from Order, so they've at least done their job. They've held up their end of the bargain in capping point A just as quickly as Ground Zero did, and now we shall see if they can go one better on point B.
Now, I've been a very vocal critic of this going in with second point Farah here for Order, so it can be shut down pretty easy, especially when you have a player like Dalsu on the Ana. Again, Mini was able to isolate Sign in that first fight too, so that's distressing signs for Order. They really need to get their backline a little more, you know, a little more together, making sure that they can peel for each other, because that you shouldn't be able to just be soloed by this Winston like this.
And that said, with an EMP and a Rocket Barrage combo here, I could see Order being able to push on through pretty quickly if it works, but it's a pretty big if.
Is Mini causing lots of trouble here. It's hard to get past him. The EMP does come out. Only hits on Gus.
No, Gus, sorry, yeah, but EMP coming back across from Nami. He charges up just in time, and it'll connect on to 3. Also got the hack onto Quats prior to the EMP from Adam, which caused some problems there as well for Order. And that'll be the end of the fight, surely, for Order.
And they used a lot of ults there too. Sign's Dragon Strike was eaten by Gus after being hacked, and in comes Jordation, and he's down. So it'll be interesting to see if Order swap this off. They look like they are using a lot of ultimates here. Can they get anything out of them?
I mean, is it worth it at this point to be trying to find fights like that?
No, it looks like Sign is just going to throw his Dragon out. He's probably in spawn. Yep, Hunter's off the map. So it looks like they'll be swapping it all up here. Quats goes over to the Reinhardt. Yuki conking back to base. It's just going to be Adam in their backline right now building that EMP ult charge. And so they are going to go to a Sombra-based Goats composition. This is something that they've been working on a lot in practice, and it's going to have to come good here with 5 minutes on the time bank. They really need to finish this with time remaining if they want a hope in this series.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they ended up getting a draw on Paris. 1-0, I mean, that is salvageable, right? But 2-0, I don't know that that is. Theoretically, yes, but realistically, maybe not. Not against a team like Ground Zero, perhaps against a team like Legacy, but...
It is going to be a little easier for them to take space here with the Winston versus the Ryan matchup, but it looks like Ground Zero have committed in a little bit too far. Adam comes in with a big EMP now. Mini's going to get caught with his ult, but Dalsu popping in massive heals to keep him alive.
May well have been a big mistake from Ground Zero. Is it enough to finish things off? Well, Mini, with the nano boost, is going to finish off Yuki, and he's going to be absolutely running amok in the back line of Order. Mini's having a great game here for Ground Zero. It's certainly backed up well by Dalsu, of course, as you can expect when he's on the Ana, to have that kind of an impact. And, well, looked good for a moment for Order, but then all of a sudden it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, Dalsu.
Awfully, because now look at what Ground Zero's got. That's such an economic fight win for them.
Dalsu sneaking in another big biotic grenade there. He's done that a few times this series already, and it's what we expected with him coming out on this Ana. He's very experienced. Jordation, one of the newer players to Ana, wasn't really playing flex support when Ana was big in the meta, so it's good to see a bit of Dalsu versus Jordation Ana off, and Dalsu's definitely winning at the moment.
I think that was to be expected. What's going to be really interesting is when we get to see Ground Zero on Warriors. Dalsu and Tung show, I'm sure that will be. Anyway, it's going to be the Nami show in this fight with an EMP available.
Order all
grouped up. He's going to wait and bide his time. I guess the longer you go, the better. Shatter goes down. Oh, Nami, he got cancelled. The EMP was thrown in, but it gets cancelled by the Shatter. I don't believe it. That is a huge error, and that may well be enough to get this point for Order. Let's see what they can do to capitalize upon it. Remembering, of course, that there is a defender's spawn advantage. Gus seems to be the focus of fire. The Graviton Surge will go on through as the demake occurs. And now Adam gets his own EMP across, but Nami makes amends. He's found the kill onto Quats, and is that going to be enough for Ground Zero to survive here? They have not lost a player just yet until that point where Juboy goes down, but now there's a Bastion on the field. And if they don't win this fight, Order, I'm not sure that they're going to win any fight. Seems as though they may well just be able to get the advantages that they need, but goodness me. Ground Zero are going to have another attempt here. No points capped at all yet from Order.
It's going to be hard for him to get back on the point with hack straight back onto Juboy, who tries to recontest the sleep onto Nami. Not sure if on the point. He does get taken out pretty quickly, but again, big splash damage coming through. Mini's got the ultimate Primal Rage going, and Jordation's getting sniped by this Tracer. Mini's got two. He's managed to get them back into this. So close, 89%, but it does look like Order are going to get held off unless Sign gets this big Graviton Surge.
Well, the Graviton Surge does go across, only hits Duboy, which is a nice target to be fair, but I think Dalsu's the premium one at this point. As there we go, another Bionade comes on through. Gunther will drop as well, but it's at the cost of Sign's life. Nami has gone down, and Quats, maybe Quats with another Shadow is going to be able to do it. Is Mini aware? Well, he certainly is now. Oh, the shield comes up just in time, but he's charged off the point. Still, Duboy is there. How much longer can Ground Zero hold on for? Now there's a nano boost. I'm not even sure who it's on. The hack across. Jordation will drop. Dalsu actually goes down there as well, so it's a trade of the Anas. How is this fight lasting so long?
Sign now back on the Doomfist, gets one hit, gets two hits. Oh, Sign's knocked him out of midair. Another beat drop for Until. That's the second one this fight and coming through, but with the shield up on the point, that's it's so hard to dislodge Mini. They've got nothing really to go through it. He's just getting pinballed around, but Gunther's on the point.
Juboy almost has his Meteor Strike, and it I think finally is now where things are starting to fall again by the wayside for Order. Finally, Ground Zero have got the numbers. Meteor Strike to come through from Duboy, but Order are finally pushed back. That was a crazy fight. Nami would have been kicking himself if that would have been a loss there for Ground Zero.
Yeah, it all started with Quats cancelling that EMP with his little Shatter. And we talked internally last season about Quartz just being one of the luckiest players that we've ever seen. And he'll call it all skill, but I'm telling you, unless he's got the quickest reactions in the West, that was all luck.
I think you got to give credit to Mini there as well. The Primal Rage, they've got 2 picks. Hugely impactful and just keeping that one alive for Ground Zero. It was really touch and go for a moment, but big individual plays out from him. Dalsu again, Sublime with the Ana with the...
TMP is everything for Order right now.
Oh, it does come across and it hits quite a few. Mini's not going to have a good time with that one at all. He was the only player with an ultimate to speak of, and it might well be the wipe that Order is looking for, but Ground Zero, they're going to attempt to let this one go for another 17 seconds. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do it. Someone needs to touch. And with 10 seconds left, 12 seconds left, Order are just going to get it done. It was so close, yet so far for Ground Zero for confirming at least a tie, worst case scenario. But now it's still winnable for Order.
And what a series we've already been treated to. 3 rounds on the Koth of the pole, and now you're going into overtime with 20 seconds the advantage in the time bank for Ground Zero. We've seen some great plays, some cute plays too out of both of these teams. We've seen Dalsu landing big nades after big nades, and if the series can keep going this way, I'll be very happy no matter the result.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite an exciting one. It's always good to start off the week with a great match, and that's what we get.
Order haven't disappointed this season so far.
No, all of their games have been a bit interesting.
They've always had a story to them, so that's
I guess
good.
the Sydney Drop Bears one was like, that was a bit more standard, but losing to Athletico, obviously that kind of might have been the match of the season so far. Legacy 3-2, there was a lot to be said there. I guess it really would have been a bit more exciting if Legacy would have won than if Order won, which they did. But we may get that this week, right? We may get that same kind of scenario if Ground Zero is able to overcome Order. That was sort of what we were saying about Legacy last week. But it seems like it's a more realistic storyline for a team like Ground Zero than it was for Legacy. And to see Legacy get so close, surely that must give Ground Zero a bit of a confidence booster.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be backing themselves in here, especially now that they have the time bank, and it looks like pretty similar setups. Order have gone for this spam composition, but they're going to be greeted by no bunker, so they might have to swap off very quickly, which means they'll only probably get one fight here if they choose to swap. Yeah.
Will they swap though?
Looks like they are. Signed. Heading back to spawn. Everybody heading back to spawn. All the fellas.
Well,
back to base.
You'd be right then in your assumption that they're only going to get one fight. Sometimes one fight's all it takes.
Quite risky though. They are going to play 3-3 in its purest form. No Sombra this time. So that means they are banking on this first fight. Well, it's the only fight they're going to get. So they really need to get the pressure pushed out here. They need to push Mini out, take space, and get Jordacian into this position to build this really fast transcendence.
Oh, the same can be said for Ground Zero. They want to get Nami in a position to build that EMP. If it comes up first, that'll surely be the fight one, but only 33% so far for Nami.
This is a good rotation.
Nice. Potts has no shield.
And the Bio Grenade goes straight through too.
Oh, this could be great for Ground Zero. No real follow-up off the back of the Bio Grenade, but it does leave Quat still low. The heals can't come across fast enough. Ground Zero, they might hold point A here. Juboy has gotten the kill on the Quads. Adam is demeched, and now Mini with a Primal Rage just trying to keep them locked away from the point. Overtime is ticking, and I just don't see Order getting on. They won't be able to. Great work from Mini, and great work from Ground Zero holding point A. A minute 20. That probably gives them 2 fights as well. So this is a very winnable map now for Ground Zero, and they managed to at least secure the draw.
They have managed to just draw minimum, so the Ground Zero will be very happy, but they'll want the W here. Going in 2-0 up on Order, that's the dream start for any team. And again, Dalsu with the Biotic Grenade came through. As soon as Quads got hacked, Dalsu knew he was tracking the Matrix, no Matrix. Throws the nade in, puts 3 players purple, and then they can get aggressive. Mini can start building his ultimate more aggressively, knowing that they're not going to try and go aggressive back onto him because they are purple. So, it's really rough to see consistently happening, but, I mean, props to Dalsu for getting these nades off. You've got to weave them through a lot of abilities and a lot of blocking, and if he's managing to do it time and time again, then Order really need to look at that as the win condition for their fights.
1 minute and 20 seconds.
And they are going to go in for that bunkering composition once more. Earlier, we saw Mini actually just pick this lineup apart. Quats dropped very early alone on the high ground, and from there, Signed went down. Adam got pressured out just by this solo Winston. So if Order need to avoid those mistakes, otherwise they're going to be finding themselves 2-0 down in maps very quickly.
Could just come from one pick here. Nami Maybe the one to give it to ground zero.
He's going to go straight back to the Sombra. Gus has gone on to the Diva, though, which is interesting. Going for a 2-2-2? Yeah, with Juboy on the... Okay, yeah, so they are just going to go for this 2-2-2. It does beat Order's composition eventually, but do they have enough time now that's only down to a minute remaining?
I think there's still enough time for 2 fights here for ground zero.
They're going to have to go quick and get it in quick, but they are wasting a lot of time here waiting for this setup.
Well, here comes the dive on in. Duboy jumping across on the Genji, but I think Mini ran into a trap from Junkrat, which is going to mean a pretty quick end to the fight. Might have been halted onto it, in fact, by Quats now I think about it. I
think it was that combination of the halt into the Junkrat trap. Something you don't want to happen if you're a Winston player. You become very vulnerable there, very scared Winston.
Oh, Adam's almost at the Transcendence. This might be a draw on the cards now.
This is
by Transcendence, I mean EMP. Of course.
Dulce is going to need to try and get that nano boost up very quickly to get it on. Too many.
To anyone, really, at this point, it feels like EMP does go across from Adam. It does not result in some picks. Well, maybe ground zero still find a way to turn this around. The heels are coming across. Nami pick, though. Sign gets it. That is a big, big opener for them. Gus actually has the nano boost on him. Not going to be able to do the damage here, unfortunately, as a Diva. The bongos go down from Quads. And I think that is going to mark a draw for us on Paris. There's a few remaining ground zero players alive, but really not much to be said for this one. Poor old Dalstu, the last there, will be finished off, and Nami can't quite get to the point. So, it's a draw on map 2, but that still is a beneficial result for a team like ground zero. They're up 1-0, and Order, well, they're still winless in the series.
Yeah, they are winless, and it comes down now. All 4 maps matter. Can Order get that on King's Row? I think it's next too, so a map that they have been historically shaky on. Will they be able to sort things out and get this series back to even? At the moment, it's looking like ground zero. They're just a lot more comfortable on this Sombra composition and playing the Ana.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did see a little bit more of a resurgence there from Order, particularly in the point B defense, but was it really enough to give you a faith? I know that you sort of predicted the 3-1. That's definitely not a possibility now, but if you're to be right even in your prediction of Order winning, it has to be the reverse sweep.
Yeah, it does. They really need to pull their finger out now, and there were some positive signs there for both teams, though. That long stall fight really showed that, ground zero have the ability to come back and, clutch out the fight with Mini getting that double primal was so important. But, again, Order, they are looking shaky in the first game of the week. Not sure how they can come back through this. They need to start, prioritizing more space for this Jordation Ana. He needs to be starting to get these big Bionades back at ground zero. They need to start using the nano boost better, but that was really unfortunate from Nami there.
Yeah. That's just one of those things where I don't think you necessarily are overthinking that one as Nami. You're just kind of like, okay, now's a good time, and just as you press your Q, Quads has pressed his Q, and you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about it now, You just see it flash for like half a second kind of thing, and you think, oh no.
Yeah,
what am I going to do?
It's a bad feeling, but I actually like the patience that Nami shows there. Like, he let them rotate around into a position where they were attacking the point, and unfortunately, Quats does Earthshatter him, but he waited until they were in the right position to use that EMP.
Yeah, the longer that you can wait, the better. Obviously, if it takes them another 10 seconds to rotate around, then you EMP, that's another 10 seconds caught off, as opposed to you EMPing before they rotate, and even if you do win that fight, you may still have an extra 10 or 15 seconds, which, from what we saw there, actually could have been a pretty big difference.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was only 20 seconds in the time bank extra for ground zero. Unfortunately, they weren't able to use it to their,
fullest extent.
Yeah, no. But they showed some good ideas, and I like that both of these teams are willing to play the Sombra Goats into each other, play a bit of bunker comp too. It's been nice to see so far.
Has been, certainly, but it's time for us to take a break. We do still have 2 maps left in this series. I have a Big Mac to eat, so we'll see you in 5 minutes.